Hey guys, we have an epic month of astrology playing out this month of April 2024. We're just going to get right into it because the energy that we have coming through this month is something really that you're probably only going to see once every couple of hundred years, maybe even like couple of thousand years, to be honest. It's a pretty big deal. We probably will not necessarily recognize how big of a deal it is as we're going through it, but that's going to become quite evident to us in the years to come. Every astrologer on the planet, I feel like, is kind of jumping up and down about this month and the things that we have going on. You know, there's not just one thing going on, there's many things going on, and all of them are kind of epic in their nature. And the fact that they're happening all in congruency together is very synchronistic, and the level of sort of like divine ordination, I feel like, encapsulated in what we have playing out this month is kind of off the charts. So, you know, really without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. In this report, we're going to be breaking down the month of April from an energetic perspective, week by week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. My name is Aubrey, and on this channel, we narrate the shift of the ages. Normally, we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos where we talk about the energy as it's coming in real time, how it may be affecting our daily lives and things happening in the world as the astrology is playing out on a day by day, week by week basis. But once a month, when we start a new month, I like to sort of do this monthly overview as well, just so we can kind of get a glimpse of what is coming at us throughout the course of the month and how things might be playing out, broken down week by week. So that's what we're doing in this video, you guys. But I will tell you, you know, sort of to start this video, we are essentially looking at a breakdown that is something like the first week is probably going to be where we're picking up on maybe some turbulence, feeling a little bit of like the pre-quakes and shakes, some tremors perhaps, you know, of what's about to come. Week 2, things get very volatile. Week 3, this is when we may see some sort of like towers crumbling, to use a tarot metaphor, lightning striking the tower, chaos, some fears that we may be coming up against, perhaps some like crash or destructive type of scenarios. There's also quite a like militaristic feel to some of the things that are playing out right now. And week 4, this is where we may see some sort of like climactic transformation happening, resolution along the lines of revolution brewing in the air all month, you guys. Very transitional period of time, shifting power dynamics, and that's sort of how I'm seeing the week by week breakdown. Week 1, you know, we're feeling the beginning of it. Week 2, things are really building. Week 3 is sort of like that pinnacle moment, and then week 4 is like the falling action, you know what I mean? The resolution of things, but the resolution of things is going to change things dramatically. Another thing I say, or I want to say, as I lead into this report, this analysis, is that there's a huge vibe all month long of like the fog of war. The last 2 days of the month of February, energy shifts and things start to become more clear to us in a way where we're gaining the perspective we need to really take some action somehow. But up until that point in time, there's a major distortion in the informational field. Nothing is clear. Nothing is as it seems. There's going to need to be some major corrections made to things that happen in the first 3 weeks of the month. We should definitely not be attaching to the appearance of things as we, you know, are introduced into this energy the first 3 weeks of this month. And it just is the concept of fog of war, I think, is something that we should be very mindful of. This is also a month where you're really going to want to practice, you know, maybe some extra situational, like being situationally aware and just being very observant of what's going on around you. Extra mindfulness will probably be of benefit as well. Just really paying attention, you know, to where you're at, what's happening around you, and being able to sort of like act accordingly. going to be beneficial. We do not want to be hyper reactive this month. That's going to be the urge is probably going to, spontaneously is going to probably be to spontaneously react and respond to things. We want to be more slow to respond, okay, less hyper reactive, like I said, even though that's likely to not be the collective tendency. And yeah, the lines are just likely to be a bit blurry, but I will also tell you guys, for all of the volatility that is indicated, at least in terms of the energy and the transits that are coming through from the astrology this month, there are also unexpected or unanticipated blessings that are indicated as well. So no matter how things may seem as we move through this time, we need to act our faith, okay? Our adherence to our faith, our belief in ourselves, our refusal to succumb to the odds of things, okay? You are not the odds, you are the exception to the rule in this energy. Just because there could be a collective energy that is kind of spiraling or spinning out of control during this period of time, you don't have to be a part of that. You can choose to stay focused on your purpose, stay focused on your goals, be more personally oriented during this period of time, and just not get on the collective crazy train that is likely to be coming to town, all right, as we go through this period of time. So all that being said, that's sort of my preface for this report. Let's just get into week one. There's a lot of information, of course. This is a highly, highly, highly active astrological time, and I don't mean, in the context of the year, yes, but again, this is this type of big alignments happening, together like this, all within the course of just a couple of days. It's not something that comes around all the time. We're looking at stuff happening, once every couple hundred years, or perhaps, like I said before, every 1,000, this is not happening regularly. This is very epic times. Okay. So week one, and the month is starting out like that. Upon entering the month of April, we should prepare for turbulence. Like I said, these sort of tremors for what's to come. This month, honestly, is impossible to call. We're dealing with a very amplified, supersized Uranian energy. Uranus is expect the unexpected. The shock factor of things is likely to be totally off the radar throughout the course of this month. However, there are likely to be certain themes emerging. Those are going to have to do with shifting power dynamics. They're going to have to do with finances and alliances and partnerships and things to do with resources and economies. All of the Taurus themes very strong. Also perhaps things having to do with belief systems, authority breaking down on some level. We've got some very strong Pisces energy going on as well, and also of course this revolutionary and militaristic also vibe that is coming through. I also want to say, as we start talking about the energy coming in this month, there's likely to be a lot of things happening that are impacting us on a world scale type of level that are then trickling down and impacting us in terms of our personal lives. Now, individually, we're probably going to have a lot of crazy things going on in our personal lives as well. However, I feel the epicenter of what's going on is going to be happening on a more macrocosm, world stage type of level. And again, the Taurus themes, resources, supply chains, financial systems, it looks like we're headed for, without sugarcoating it, for some type of financial chaos, financial system collapse, financial crash, something along those lines, okay? So I'm just going to say that. We'll see how it plays out, but that is just what the astrology is indicating. And these crashes, of course, as a mechanism for something new that is going to come in probably quicker than we think and start, taking the place or rebuilding or major, it's not even necessarily in terms of you know, financial systems maybe, although that's the way it seems. It could be in terms of like value systems somehow. But there are so many indications, you guys, of some type of financial crisis, I guess we could say, moving through this month, manifesting somehow. But I also want to say, you know, we have to remember Mercury's going to be retrograde all month. Things are not truly going to be as they appear. There's going to also probably be a lot of like rumors and gossip and like hearing information and narratives being projected that aren't necessarily accurate, that we don't necessarily want to buy into or attach to, also that could be like promulgating some type of like fear response. Okay, so faith over fear. We need to trust the process of things right now, and, you know, focus on our own personal goals. Like I said, our personal goals, our personal path, our personal purpose right now, how we're building ourselves up. If everything feels like, you know, in the world around us and the external reality, like it may be crumbling or there could be cracks in the greater foundation, how we offset that is by building ourselves up individually to the best of our ability in the context of whatever circumstances we're personally navigating at this point in time. And I really don't mean to come on here like I'm not by in any way trying to like promote any type of like fear or anything like that. I just feel like it's beneficial. Like this is just what it's saying, okay? I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or over dramatic. It is very dramatic, though, to be completely honest, how these aspects are coming together. As of April 1st, you guys, Mercury stations retrograde in the sky. When we have a Mercury retrograde going on, things often need to be corrected, right? Mercury retrograde, a lot of times things are unclear. There can be a lot of misunderstandings, miscommunications, misinterpretations about things. Most likely whatever goes down, okay, in the beginning first 3 weeks of this month, especially of the month of April, will not be finalized. There will need to be some corrections made, okay? We are not seeing the end result in terms of whatever plays out this first week, whatever plays out this first 3 weeks of the month of April. It is being influenced by Mercury retrograde energy. There is likely to be a lot of confusion, a lot of disorientation, a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of misinterpretations about things that happen. And we have to remember, Mercury will go retrograde in the sign of Aries. Aries is a sign of the self. It's a sign of, you know, our ego, and it also has a lot to do with conflicts, okay? We personally, you're gonna wanna, you know, always during a Mercury retrograde, you really want to, you know, check, double check, triple check everything that you got going on, because we are just, you know, there's a distortion in the informational, conversational field, communication field when we're dealing with a Mercury retrograde. In the sign of Aries, you're going to want to like maybe step that up a little bit more even, because it's like us personally. Like you may personally misspeak. Like you may personally make some type of communication error. Like the individuals are more likely to be in the line of fire, okay, or responsible for whatever errors or communications or like misspoken words happen during this particular Mercury retrograde. It is also being in the sign of Aries. This is the sign of Mars, the ruler of the battlefield, right? There could also be an enhanced opportunity for conflicts, fights over misunderstandings, maybe some like hyper aggressive language or like verbal disputes that are happening as a result of miscommunications, misunderstandings. Also technological failures, communication failures as well, and inability to get a message across that also could be resulting or, you know, bringing up some type of like conflict or fighting somehow. And again, Mercury retrograde in the sign of Mars, the ruler of the battlefield, this is this fog of war energy, okay? We got a lot happening in the month of April, you guys. We're not going to be seeing it, understanding it, interpreting it clearly. With Mercury retrograde in the sign of Aries, we don't want to take that, we don't want to like react immediately based on what we think is happening, because I'm telling you guys, it's probably not. It's probably not exactly what you think it is. Somehow there is some type of distortion in the way that we're perceiving things, the way that we're understanding things, what is being communicated as well. There could be, some real issues with like the public narrative, or the news, the information generally. No one knows, okay? No one really knows what is going on as a result of this Mercury retrograde Aries energy, as we are not only beginning the first week in the month of April, as this is happening on April 1st, but literally moving through essentially the entire month, all until the mid to the end of the last week. That's when we finally start to gain some perspective. We finally start to gain some clarity, and we're gonna gain it, and we're gonna know what to do, but it's not going to come until we literally get to like the 28th, the 29th, the 30th of the month of April. From from now until then, from the beginning of the month through then, a lot is changing, a lot is happening, a lot is going on. Like I said, major shock factor to things, major unexpected events, but we are not going to be seeing them for what they truly are. And therefore, any actions that we take, Mercury and Aries, any choices that we make, any decisions that we make, this is not a good time for like investing in stuff like that, for, major purchases and stuff. I would hold off on, because we're gonna have to like redo it. There's gonna be, Aries is also the sign of taking action. We're really gonna have to be redoing things if we are too hasty in our decision making, or our like leaping reactions, okay? Leaping into action, reacting to things over this period of time. Be very careful. Again, use caution, pay attention. People are not going to be paying attention. This is also energy this first week, which is bringing up to me like scams and frauds and like cons being highlighted, especially also in terms of finances and investment oriented things. So be very, very careful what you are buying into. This first week, I'm still seeing things having to do with perhaps financial breakdowns, as well as maybe breakdowns in resources or supply chains, production, relations somehow, alliances, allegiances, contracts, agreements, maybe projects, and authority and belief. We are in a breakdown of authority. Belief systems are going to be shifting or changing radically, I do believe as well. People could also really be warring and fighting over various beliefs and ideals about things as we move through this period of time. And there's just this revolutionary energy in the air as well. But I do think the fact that we have Mercury retrograde coloring everything that's happening this month, this is a big deal. Like, this is not going to have a small impact, and the impact that it is going to have is keeping us in perhaps this fog of war state, and we should keep that in mind. People throughout this, especially the first 3 weeks of this month, are also likely to be losing their mind. People could really be losing it in mass as we move through this energy. And we need to maintain our vision on what is important to us, what we're working towards, and again, not allow ourselves to get sucked into whatever crazy stuff is going on. Okay, so week 1, right? We begin with Mercury retrograde on April 1st. We also, April 1st coming in, have a Capricorn moon in square to the sun in Aries. There could be tension starting out right this first week. A lot of tension is going to begin. Like I said, this is sort of like this tremor energy. This is we're moving into some turbulence, and a lot of it could have to do with Mercury retrograde, perhaps some rumors that we hear, the spread of false information. Mars, Aries, this is also an energy that causes things to spread rapidly. There could be a rapid spread of false information that is causing some type of turbulence or some type of reaction going on. And again, it could have to do with government or authority somehow. Big aspects that we have going on week 1, we have Venus and Neptune coming together in Pisces. This will be in alignment with the moon in Aquarius conjoining Pluto, and that happens on Wednesday, and then on Thursday we are going to have the sun, our once yearly sun north node conjunction happening in the sign of Aries, and we're also going to have the moon in Aquarius forming a square to Jupiter and Uranus, who are, you know, in a very tight conjunction as we are starting the first week of April. Now, this is going to probably go two distinct ways, and both of them are, you know, pretty extreme. We're talking about a lot of Pisces energy, and we're talking about a lot of Aries energy. The Venus Neptune Pisces trine with a Pluto moon going on one hand, this is intense, like spiritually driven creative impulses and divine inspiration that are motivating some type of progress or some type of action, like seeing the vision and acting to bring it to life in some very profound ways. Extremely powerful manifestation energy in alignment with some type of spiritual or higher purpose. Bringing, you know, divine inspiration into the physical reality. On one hand, Venus, Neptune, and Pisces, moon with Pluto and Aquarius, and then moving right into the sun north node Aries conjunction with the moon squaring Jupiter, Uranus conjunct. And we'll talk about this in the energy of Wednesday. That will be my next video out. Actually, we're going to get into this Wednesday and Thursday of this first week of April. Actually, we've got big energy going on, and that we're going to talk about that. Okay. On the other hand, so that's the positive aspect of this energy, the positive octave of this energy, this very strong ability to, you know, manifest essentially the dream into reality along these very high, like spiritually idealized high heart lines. Now the flip side of the energy, Venus, Neptune, and Pisces with the moon and Pluto in Aquarius transitioning right into sun north node Aries conjunction, moon in Aquarius squaring Jupiter and Uranus, financial and relational breakdown or destruction, driving conflict or initiating a rebirth somehow, agitating change, bringing endings and beginnings. Endings and beginnings, again, are definitive of this entire month of April. The question and the answer, the downfall and the uprising, both happening simultaneously, indicated, you know, right off the bat as we, you know, enter this first week of April. Things pick up major momentum on April 5th. April 5th through the 11th will probably be very intense. And this is, you know, we are activating in this very epic energy come the 5th and moving forward through the 11th. Both wounding and healing, crisis and remedy are going to be extremely active themes throughout this period of time, really the entire month, really this entire year, but very, very heavy with the crisis, remedy, wounding, healing vibe. Chiron is everything in the context of the energy that is playing out this month. So we're going to be, if you guys follow my channel and, you know, as this is happening in real time and we're talking about it, we are going to be talking about a lot of Chiron energy that is coming through. On the 4th into the 5th, it's really, the 5th is when things really start picking up because of the moon's placement. We have a lot of planets between Pisces and Taurus right now, and the moon is going to transit Pisces and Taurus between the 5th and the 11th. So the moon is going to begin activating first Mars, then Saturn, Neptune, Venus, then the sun and the north node, of course, for our new moon solar eclipse coming up on the 8th, and then Chiron, and then Mercury, and then Jupiter and Uranus in conjunction. So all of that's going to be activated by where the moon is transiting between the 5th and the 11th of April, and that's really going to make things very intense, one thing after another after another. Of course, obviously this like total solar eclipse is happening. That is also the new moon in Aries that is happening on the 8th, like right in the middle of this period of time. Again, you know, be exceptionally mindful this first week, well, all month really, but really, you know, as this first week begins, if possible, attached to nothing that appears to be happening. Slow down, pace yourself, stay grounded. We are we are responding and taking our time in our response to things. We are not just reacting and flying off the handle. If we don't have to, we are catching ourselves before we just run right off a cliff, okay? And we are focusing on our goals. We are focusing on our work. We are focusing on our personal mission, and we are not being motivated to act through any type of gossip or drama or externalized persuasion that may be floating around out there in the generalized matrix as we go through this week as well. Doing what you know is right is always a way to end up in a good place, especially when we've got this type of energy going on. Let your experience be your guide in certain situations as well. This is also a period of time where universe is expecting us to extract wisdom from the experiences that we've been through in the past, and actively choose to maybe do things different than we have before. This is a tremendous opportunity to break some karmic cycles or some karmic loops or some even like generational curses and stuff like that we may have been karmically caught up in for long periods of time. We want to, or I feel like it's just generally best to maybe avoid crowds or like big, busy public places this week if possible. Well, actually, the first 3 weeks of the month of April, if you can do that, it's probably just, the better road to take, okay? Practice situational awareness, like I've said, very important. Also, avoiding drugs and alcohol and stuff like that is probably beneficial this week as well, just because, I don't know, I just have that feeling, so I'm saying that, okay? You may feel, starting this week and moving through this month as though you're really being tested in a lot of ways, and to be honest, we kind of are, but the results are going to be life-changing. And again, we are being asked to find the blessings in what may otherwise seem to be kind of like a bleak environment perhaps, or circumstance, and I personally think that the more we can kind of like walk in our gratitude starting this month and, all the way through the month, I think that it's just going to keep us on a frequency where we're less likely to be so harshly interacting perhaps with all that may be unfolding throughout this period of time. These are tests, right? The nodes are very much involved. Super fated week, this first week of April. The sun aligning with the north node, the destiny point, in the sign of Aries. This is a personal destiny, you guys. Sign of Aries, this is the self, a personal mission, a personal journey, our personal leadership era, a personal destiny that is being activated that we need to step into. Like, we are being called to, reach for something greater within ourselves as we move through this period of time. And even though it's probably not going to be easy, if we do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing, we are going to, we're going to shock ourselves with what we are able to accomplish and who we, discover that we truly are, I think, as we move through this, month and the rest of this year as well. Very, very divinely oriented times that we're in. Let's move on and talk about week 2. Of course, week 2, the 8th opens with this total solar eclipse that, has been receiving so much attention. Full total solar eclipse. This is also our new moon in Aries, which makes it like ever so much more significant from an astrological point of view, because the new moon in Aries, you guys, this is the time each year when we look from an energetic perspective to see what we can expect throughout the course of the entire year. It's the energetic, like, beginning of our lunar year, our lunar 2024 year. And for it to be starting with this eclipse going on and the aspects that are happening on the sidelines of it, like, this is going to be new moon in Aries 2024 to new moon in Aries 2025. Epic, 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 you guys. Not only, is it the new moon in Aries, not only is it the total solar eclipse, but it is also in an exact conjunction with Chiron, wounded healer, teacher, master archetype. This is also huge, and this gives a lot of connotations. We're gonna talk all about it as this is coming together in real time, but I will tell you, it is giving to me like Battle of the Titan vibes. Mars and Saturn are going to be in a conjunction while we've got this eclipse happening in Aries, which is ruled by Mars, which is in a conjunction to Chiron. Chiron was the teacher of all the great warriors in the mythology, okay? There could be some extreme tension and frustration that is brewing or building or manifesting somehow. And there could also be this sense of like suspended animation somehow going on. The fog of war vibe, lacking something vital, removing also, this is a solar eclipse in Aries, some type of leader from their position of authority or power or government somehow, likely to be impacting maybe some high level masculine figures. This is indicating shifting power dynamics, and there is going to be a major like contention going on between old power systems and new power systems and the conflict that is arising between them. Severe storms are also very possible the second week. Severe weather really all month. I would also not be surprised if there's like some type of major actual earthquake that goes on. As I was looking at this month and just, the fact that we have Uranus and Jupiter and Taurus, that's like ground shaking happening because we're in the earth sign of Taurus, things coming from the earth. It has, this is a foundational energy, and with Uranus and Jupiter there, of course, this is the lightning hitting the tower. So there could be some big like earth type of catastrophe or anomaly or events going on like that, like literal earthquakes or like fault lines opening up or something could be a theme. Also, there could be like volcanic activity, to be honest with you. With Mars and Saturn and Pisces, there could be like explosions deep underwater, deep within the earth or something like that, having to do also with like oil refineries or something, because we're talking about, the Taurus energy, we're talking about the Piscean energy as well. Pisces has to do with oil and things that are like deep under the ocean. And, with Saturn there that have been under there maybe for a long time, or this could also be things from, again, things to do with the past, things that have been going on for a long period of time, things that are fresh, things that are active, things that are being initiated, things that are up and coming now, coming to a head in a way that is going to transition and dissolve one state into another somehow. Okay, so, we've got Mars and we've got Saturn coming into a conjunction in Pisces just a couple of days after we have this eclipse, and just a couple of days before we have the big alignment between Uranus and Jupiter come exact in the sky. Mars and Saturn together, you guys, by any astrological standards, first of all, let's talk about the good news first. On one hand, this is master builder energy. The high octaves of Mars and Saturn together, this is absolutely like master builder, creating works that are going to endure long into the future. Like this is like all the great, like Da Vinci and, Michelangelo and like all of the great like artists and sculptors and builders and like the great designers of old. And, that is Mars Saturn energy taken to its highest octave. On the lower octaves of the Mars Saturn energy, in ancient astrology, Mars and Saturn were both referred to as the great malefics, and this is pure volatility and extreme conflict. Okay, so with this happening and the eclipse happening and moving into the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction that is like building every day the second week as well, volatility in combination with the fog of war in combination with this like suspended animation type of energy going on. Don't get involved if you don't have to in things the second week. Lay low, be hyper aware, as I've been talking about. Don't be quick to react. Don't believe everything that you even see, everything that you hear, everything that seems to be happening. Be very, very, very skeptical. Be on guard. Pay attention. And I hate to like propagate paranoia, but I do think that sometimes sometimes paranoia can be a useful and beneficial tool. And I feel like in this energy right now, it's just the more aware, the more, slightly paranoid perhaps of things that we can be, the more kind of just like generalized caution we can use while not being, doing it because we're in a state of fear. It's not, we don't want to do things from a state of fear. We want to do things from a state of awareness, okay? So we're not being paranoid because we're afraid. We're being paranoid because we are aware. And if we, are just slightly paranoid, then we're just slightly paying a bit more attention, which means we just slightly might have a greater level of awareness than we would have otherwise, which just means that we've got more information at our disposal to use to act accordingly in situations. So we're setting ourselves up for success moving through this month. We are not setting ourselves up to fall into the fear of failure, which that's another thing. As we move through this report and I get to some of the other energy that we have going on, there is also, people could be really like acting from a place of fear, being put in a position to face some fears as we move towards the month. And the more awareness we can have of what's happening, the more properly we will be able to respond to the things that are happening around us instead of just reacting from a place of, insanity with this losing the mind energy as well, or, fear controlling our actions. So there could be a bit of, mass confusion going on this second week, volatility, sparks flying. I also see the militaristic stuff going on. I do have to say that, the degree where this is happening, and we will talk all about this in way more detail as we go through this energy in real time, but the Mars-Saturn that brings up military feels, it's also happening at a Sabian symbol degree that is specifically referencing like military type of action. So we're just putting that out there to be aware of, okay? But, there could be this mass confusion or this mass hysteria type of energy, but, no one knows what's really happening, you guys. And that's kind of the best I got for this second week. There could be a lack of security going on also. Just people like a generally increased sense of insecurity, maybe based on some of these spontaneously or suddenly changing circumstances that we have going on. Let's move into the third week. The third week, to start off on the 15th, we have Mercury retrograde coming into a conjunction with Chiron, and the moon in Cancer is going to be squaring the sun in Aries. This is going to reactivate the energy of the eclipse and the new moon. So coming right in this third week, which is the week that hosts the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, we've got big energy reactivating the eclipse that we had, okay, and the new moon. The third week from the 15th to the 21st, you can just go ahead and circle like every single one of those days in your calendar as kind of like red flag days. There could like every single day this third week is just super highly active in terms of the energy. As I said, the first week, this is like the tremors. The second week, this is like, maybe we get the earthquake. The third week, this is when the whole fault lines are opening up, or like the lightning is like striking the tower and it is crumbling, like we're in a bit of free fall the third week. Like it could be very like chaos ridden week, and just a very unsettling week, I guess we could say. There seems to be something really big that is happening. Again, like I am definitely not one to be out here trying to be hyperbolic. I really do my best to not like over dramatize, this type of stuff, because there's likely to already be, such an enhanced level of drama out there. I certainly don't want to add to it. However, this is just this epic week of energy, and it just is what it is. It just really looks like something big is going down this third week. Every day is lit up somehow. It's nonstop action. It's crazy synchronicities and simultaneous alignments happening that like you couldn't make happen if you tried, but there it is, coming together in the cosmic blueprint. Just, lovely. Money, conflict, power, revolution. Those are the themes, okay? And it as I said sort of in the beginning, but it looks like something bigger than us personally, like on an individual level. World events, okay, that are impacting us in a way that trickles down. The ground shaking under our feet, cracks in the foundation, pertaining to, though, the 3D matrix, the power and control systems of the past, okay? That's just what it looks like. It looks like this tower crumbling energy this third week. And again, like facing or conquering your fears, perhaps up against that type of thing, as a dynamic of what is unfolding this week. Act your Mars and Pisces, okay? We want to act our faith in order to get through this. I want everybody moving through the month of April. I want all you guys out there to know in your heart, okay? In your heart of hearts, all right, that you are the exception, okay? You are the exception to the rule in the face of the odds, or everything may be seemingly stacked against you as you go through this period of time. Remember, the odds do not apply to you. Know your purpose, know your truth, act your faith, do what's right. Do not attach to or accept any of the collective fears, especially fears of failure, that are likely to be relevant this third week, and the narratives that are being projected that may be associated or in alignment with that. Know that while the external reality may be breaking down on some level, you don't actually need that to be okay. Things are not truly as they seem. Hyper novelty is a part of this, and Mercury retrograde is a part of this, okay? There is a distortion in the informational field, and we are not seeing things clearly. There are also, and this is a big deal, and I will talk about this when we get to the new moon and when we do the eclipse report, everything associated with the energy coming through. But I'm telling you, as much as things may seem bleak, okay, it may seem like the world's falling apart and ending on one level, there are unexpected solutions and unexpected blessings that are coming along for the ride as well. All is not lost. Trust that you are being divinely guided through this time. There is something there to catch you if you feel like you're falling. And when the dust clears, when the smoke clears, the picture is going to look different than we may imagine it to, as, the events are taking place, which may be, have us in some type of state of insecurity, okay? Again, very financially oriented, resources, economies, values, value systems, partnerships, alliances, beliefs, revolution, military type vibes going on as well. But like something big is just likely to be going on this third week. Let's talk about the fourth week now, okay? And of course, then I don't even know if I said that the third week we also have on the 16th, the exact Jupiter Uranus conjunction that is really going to be there lingering all the way actually through the 26th. So the 16th to the 26th, that is a crazy period of time as well. The whole month is really crazy, but we have this big, huge conjunction that is happening between the 16th and the 26th. So, we will be talking all about it as it's unfolding in real time as well. But let's now get into the fourth week. The fourth week is the week where we are finally beginning to gain a bit of perspective. I will say, starting off on the 22nd, we are, kind of just picking up right where we left off in like all of the crazy that came the previous week through the 21st. Moving into the 23rd, we have our full moon in Scorpio that's going to be in a square to Pluto. Venus will be in a conjunction to Chiron. Mercury retrograde will be conjunct the nodes. And of course, Jupiter and Uranus will be in an exact conjunction as well. This is going to be quite a climactic and transformative full moon. Fated information, financial revolution is what this is looking like to me. Moving through the week, on the 25th, we have Mercury stationing direct. And you know how Mercury happens to be stationing direct? Oh, in an exact conjunction to the North Node, exact opposition to the South Node. So this Mercury direct, you guys, like for whatever fog of war that we've been in, for whatever, could be even like a mass illusion or just like clouded judgment, I don't know, but there is going to be like a sudden influx of like shocking news or sudden clarity or secrets revealed or destroying the illusion, some type of fated information, something that is like directly related to the path ahead or what's to come or where we're going or the future somehow that we are gaining an awareness of. It's likely to be the moon also opposes Jupiter and Uranus in their conjunction on that day. And Mars is coming into a conjunction with Neptune as well. Like it's likely to bring a shock factor. So the 25th is also another big day. Moving through the rest of the week, then we have the moon moving into the sign of Sagittarius. We're going to have a moon transiting Sag, which is ruled by Jupiter, which again puts the emphasis on, number one, expanding our perspective on something, maybe seeing a higher truth about something, awakening to something on some deeper level. This concept, okay, of the Great Awakening that is walking hand in hand so nicely with our current transition into the age of Aquarius, that has become such sort of like a key phrase for the times that we're in right now. I feel like this is some big time energy that we have coming through the last week of April. It feels like the energy of the Great Awakening to me. Like it feels like we're starting to figure something out on like a more collective, like mass level. Now, of course, this is not going to apply to everyone, but I think that it's going to become much, I don't know, it's like a larger percentage of the population than maybe we have experienced in the past, gaining some type of an enhanced awareness or awakening to something in a way that really like moves a needle somehow, that in a way that has not been done before. We could really be looking at some more conflicts over beliefs and over truth in the energy as it's coming through this last week. We do have an exact Mars-Neptune conjunction that is then going to turn into the very next day, Venus entering Taurus, shifting vibes, Mars coming to 29 degrees of Pisces, and then on the 30th, Mars will leave Pisces and enter Aries. So we've got Mars conjoining Neptune, followed by a vibe shift with Venus entering Taurus the next day, followed by another vibe shift with Mars entering Aries the day after that, and Mercury now moving forward. As we move through this last week, following the energy of the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th specifically, like this is corrections coming. This is having gained perspective that we are deciding like we're going to be able to act, we're going to be able to decide, we're going to be able to move forward somehow. So week 4, this fog of war vibe that we're literally in all month, the whole month of April until the 4th week starts to lift, and we are gaining the clarity, gaining the higher understanding, gaining the perspective on something, figuring out what we need to fix, what we need to correct, or what, what corrections were made perhaps during the Mercury retrograde period. We got to rebuild something, and we're motivated now to move forward. I like it. Following everything that we've been through in this month of April, Venus entering Taurus, Venus in her home sign, Mars entering Aries, Mars in his home sign, at least moving forward. We now have both masculine and feminine, functioning purely. Okay, we've got some very strong Mars energy that is helping us to move forward, to move ahead, to have courage, have strength, like all the Aries energy emphasized, and all of the Venus energy in the sign of Taurus. Like, definitely though, the whole focus, so much focus is going to be on the Taurus themes, things having to do with resources, food, projects, what we're building, things, agriculture, things growing from the earth, foundations, what we're building, resources, finances, partnerships, alliances, like financial institutions, value systems, like all very, very, very heavy value oriented focus as we head into the month of May for sure. But something does majorly shift for us this last couple days of April, firing us up to take action, bringing forth these great awakening vibes, which are going to be lighting the fire, which is this pending revolution that I've been talking about. Financial revolution, something revolution, I don't know, but it just looks like that's the direction things are headed. The whole month, I will say this as well. Considering how things are playing out the very last couple of days of the month of April and the energy shift that comes then, when we hit that energy shift and Venus enters Taurus and Mars enters Aries and Mercury's now direct and, these big alignments start moving apart, it may feel like this suspended animation feel to things. Like, it may feel like we have been in some type of dream state or state of shock or, suspended in time and space throughout this past couple of weeks. Like, when we're looking back on it, it may all feel like some type of weird dream. But as we head into the month of May, this energy shifts. We know what we need to do, and we're ready to take action to do it moving forward. So that's how I see things. Just to reiterate, how I started this report: week 1, turbulence; week 2, volatility; week 3, chaos, perhaps fear. All right. Crash, boom, bang. Week 4, climactic transformation, revolution, resolution. This is a month that is following the story arc quite nicely. Week 1 is definitely like the building action. Week 2 is like coming to a climax. Week 3 is like the sudden thing that happens, like that comes in that changes the whole game. And then week 4 is definitely like the falling action and like us coming to a point where we've realized what's happened and we're ready to like move things forward somehow. So that's what I have to say, you guys, about the month of April. It should be epic times that we are moving through. I hope for all of us that they are less bumpy. It's less bumpy of a ride than it appears to be looking at it from the energetic perspective. I hope that we are all able to move through and navigate things for ourselves in an individual way, in a way that is somewhat detached from just the more collective experience that may be playing out right now, just because it is times of endings and beginnings. Like, this is like the end times, you know what I mean? Like, this is a major transition point. Energetically, things are changing as well, and that's another part of it, you know what I mean? Like, according to the grander unfolding cosmic cycles that we are a part of, we are actually moving back into a closer proximity with the galactic center. Like, we are actually moving back into, despite appearances and how things may seem on the surface, we're moving back into the light. We're actually moving out of darker ages and back into alignment with a time that will bring in a new golden age. And so, as much as it seems like, or it may seem like, we are you know, walking through the valleys of the shadows of death or whatever over this period of time, we're actually re-emerging back into the light. And the process of doing that, you know, maybe perhaps because of how off base things have gotten over long periods of time, you know, it may not feel like that or seem like that, but the light wins. And as much as we may feel like we're navigating some crazy darkness or whatever, you know, just really like life really testing us through this period of time, it's ultimately in terms of the overall cosmic story, it's ultimately for the best. And if we can just make it through this next couple of years, you guys, I'm telling you, like, there's some really, really awesome things that are going to be coming. It's going to bridge us and transition us into a time where we're going to experience, I think, honestly, like, there's a lot of fear associated with the times to come as well, of course, but because of where we're at, you know, in this grand unfolding time and space, in the cosmic 26,000 year cycles, and we're, you know, leaving the darker age Kali Yuga energy, we're proceeding forth into a new age of enlightenment, essentially. It's going to be better, it's going to be for the best, and we're going to experience a much more fulfilling and liberating and, you know, exciting also, I feel like, experience of life moving forward once we get through, you know, the things that we need, the final downfalls and the things that we need to go through to make this transition possible. So that's where we're at, you guys. I feel like that's what these times are bringing us. That's what this month is all about, is anchoring in the age of Aquarius, anchoring in the new energy to the planet. And as a result of that, there's going to have to be some big things remnant from the past age that need to change, and it may be uncomfortable, but ultimately we are going to be heading in a better direction. So that's what I have to say, you guys. This is bringing an end to cycles based in a distorted energetic field that were not promoting the proper evolution and growth of an expansion of universe. Okay, so that's about to change. We're going to get a synchronicity card now and ask God, Spirit, Universe, okay, what is some guidance that can benefit us as we're moving through this time? I got two cards. The first one says no. Okay, we got the no card coming out. So if there is something that you are, you know, pondering about, is something that you're thinking about in this moment, that could be a message for you. The answer to that might be no. And then the other card that we have coming out, you guys, what did I tell you? It says you are protected. So this is also to me saying, like, no, you are protected. Okay, like, literally, like, it is the word no, you know, which has a couple of meanings. And of course, this is not K-N-O-W, but no, you are protected. There you go. Okay. You are protected, for he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. Psalms 91:11. Know your guardian angel is with you always, protecting you from harm. Be assured he keeps you safe when fear overwhelms you. Read the 91st Psalm in its entirety and rest in the assurance you are protected. That's what, you know, a vibe that was coming through to me this month as well. You know, perhaps really finding ourselves in situations where, you know, there could be collective fears that we're up against, or having to face a fear, and knowing, okay, no matter what you're up against, you are not the odds, you overcome the odds. You are always the exception. You are always protected. All right. And it specifically says your guardian angel is with you always, protecting you from harm. Be assured he keeps you safe. And just know, right? Know you are protected, okay, as we move through this period of time. And as I said, acting our faith, wearing it like armor, the armor of God, okay? This is going to be suit up as we move through this period of time. That's what I have to say, you guys. That's how I feel about the times to come. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope there was something beneficial in there for you. If there was, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would also enjoy or benefit from this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. I'm so grateful for your presence here. If you're having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these here videos, let me know in my comment section below. Everything that you guys have to say is very valuable and relevant to me. And if you want to know what I write on these whiteboards, if you want to see the whole thing, thing. I post a picture of them in a Facebook group that I have linked in my description box below. And I also post the synchronicity cards over there as well, if that is something that you're interested in. So that's what I have for you guys today. Come back with me on Wednesday. We got a lot of... We're getting right into the month of April, and of course, therefore, we have some big transits to talk about on Wednesday. Venus, Neptune conjunction with the moon and Pluto, and also Sun North Node, fated days ahead, you guys. I'll be here to talk about it. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time, you guys. Have a beautiful start to your month. And until then, bye, guys.